I'd like to discuss the final components inside the JSON setting. We are done discussing the global variables, the common components, and now we are in the final stage, the routes component or routes setting. So let me dive in directly to the JSON component, the JSON settings. So again, just a review, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 basic parts of the JSON components. And we're done with the global variables, the common components. And now let me discuss a deeper discussion, give a deeper discussion about the routes. So as we can see, we have, let me just minimize some of the routes here. So we have, I think, a lot of routes for this JSON website. And so while minimizing all of these, so routes are just the pages. So if we are going to count how many pages do we have in this website, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. We have 20 pages all in all, specifically to for this design or for this website. So we have 10 routes equivalent to not exactly 20 routes, not exactly 20 pages, because we have a special route here, and this should be implemented, and this should be implemented after the 404 page, or this should be the last route of uh, the JSON setting. Since we have, let me just open these things. We have the path and this path. So this basically, if we don't have a matching routes, or let me just copy this. This is the exact actually URL. So if we have a matching route here, it will basically hit the last route. Let me just minimize this. It will hit the last route, which is this. This is the path. This pertains to all pages except the declared pages that goes before this before this route. So we have the path. Then if we don't have an exact let me just try to type in a non-existent path. So, and this will hit the redirect, this one, and will render the path 404. So this is the exact route, as you can see. So these are basically the components of the setting of routes. So if you're familiar with the array, and it's declared as array because we're creating different lists. So we have different list of pages. So let me dive in deeper to the composition of a route. So we have routes, the list of routes, and let me dive in basically to the component, major setting of a certain route. So you can just actually use the bracket notation, and we have two parts, common parts. We have the path, or we call it the URL here, and the component. So this is where we can actually type in the name of the URL or the path to be exact. So if I will just use this as homepage as an example, something like that, or if I'm working on this and I don't want to use the forward slash and use instead of use this word instead of that slash. So this path pertains to this. This is the equivalent of this path. We know that we did not do the persistence, or we did not save this JSON setting yet. So if this one is the equivalent of this route or this path, so we have this path. And now let me just dive in deeper to the components. Now components comprise different list of components, of course, because again, this is declared as an array since we are listing out different components. Let me dive in deeper. And I know I talk about the components, the difference, or the primary difference of common components and components. Common components are the modals, and components are found inside the routes. So that we can have a deeper grasp about the differences of common components and components. So let me just minimize all of these components. And let me compare this inside or on the front end so that we can take a look at the settings and the exact rendering of this component. So components are to explain again further, components are the sections. So let me go to the home page. So we have a list of components, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we have 13 components. And if we are going to some of the components here, I'd like to say that some of these components are not visible. So the order of the components here are the exact order of the components being rendered on the front end. So to get an idea of how this one is being rendered, these components are being rendered. So I'd like to take the last list. This is the footer component, and this is the last list footer component, and this is the equivalent on the front end. We have the work with us component, and this is the equivalent on the front end. Again, this is the theme carousel, and this is our theme section on the front end. Let me just go into it one by one. This is the community's carousel, and right above our theme is the community's carousel. Press carousel, and we have the press carousel here. And testimonials. The name of the component is testimonials, and this is testimonial. And if you're going to go through the different list of components, so we can take a look at these as the example, one of the examples inside the components list. So we can reorder. For example, we want to reorder the video component and the about component. So I can just minimize, and let me just check if this is the video or the about. This is the data provider. Some of the things that are not visible Actually, this one is visible. So I'd like to go to this. And let me reload this page. Let me reload. Yeah, this is the home page. And if I will be, helmet is just that you can just dynamically type in the title and the description of this page. For example, I like to say this is our welcome to the homepage. And yeah, you can put your description, save, and reload. I'd like to just get this way. And since this is the preview, let me again reload this page. Save. Let's just wait for the changes to take place. Oops, should be welcome to the homepage. Yeah, basically this should actually change the title bar here and the description as well. So this is a visible component because we're seeing this. Another part of the component that probably not visible on the front end is the data provider. So these are actually we have different data providers. We have the dispatch because it's using the Redux technically, and we have different dispatch options here. We have if we're getting the featured properties. Let me dive in a little deeper into this, but this is the component for if we want to get the data from for the dynamic section, like the properties slider. We have what else? The featured properties. We have the what do we have here again? We have the sold properties, communities, and so on. So right after the data provider is the header with search. So we know that the header with search is this. Header with search. So this is being rendered after the helmet provider, data provider, and the header with search. Yeah, and the video section, of course. And after the video section, we can just actually do the about section. So this is the basic part of the routes. These are the pages, and let me I'll be discussing a bit of the details of this on the how to update, delete, and create pages. So yeah, let me know if you have a specific comment about this, and I'll be glad to create a, a specific video to address your concern. Thank you.